as well as the state of the industry. Yu-Dee Chang is our guest this morning, chief trader at ACE Investment Strategies. All right, so the idea, I mean, there's a couple of things that are in this editorial, and one is that, hey, we don't want a government bailout of journalists either. That's what Mr. Murdoch talked about. But also this idea, as he's talked many times in the past, of paying for content. The Journal charges on their website. Will this work?
Well, part of it, I think it's going to work. Basically, you do pay for cable TV, so
Sure.
I think maybe for the basic news, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. However, for the premiums, I do believe people are willing to pay. I think the key is this: some kind of content protection, I truly believe is needed. However, of course, Mr. Murdoch's idea is that, well, we have to make it so good, the content, that people are willing to pay for it.
Sure.
So I think, as we in Washington says, the devil's in the details. So exactly how is he going to implement that?
Yeah, and I think really the question comes down to not just is this going to work, but does this need to work? Is this the future of journalism?
Well, I think partially probably is the future. Basically, you do have to start paying for your music, and I do believe people do that.
But is the advertising model dead, to Sandra's point?
I don't believe that necessarily the traditional advertising model is totally dead. I think it's still there, partially.
It's different online, though, isn't it, than in print? I mean, in other words, you can't make as much money advertising online, you wouldn't think, as you have traditionally with print advertising, broadcast advertising. So you have to come up with new ways, right?
Correct. And that's one of the new ways that he's coming up with, saying that we're going to make it so good and that you have to add a premium to it.
You want to pay for it.
And obviously, time's going to tell if people are willing to pay for content. Right now, you can go on Google and search for your topic, and you have access to free content. Question is, will people be willing to pay for that? You're saying an example is the music industry, and the consumer has proven willing to pay for music.
That's absolutely correct. As I was in the green room waiting, I was asking several people that, do you pay for your music? 2 people actually told me out of 4 that absolutely so.
2 out of 4 said, we want to know the 2 people that didn't pay.
I think I'm going to keep that a secret.
Either one of them in the studio right now. The other topic Mr. Murdoch brought up in the editorial was this idea of the government involvement in this industry, and the government's involved in so many industries. His point was, hey, because some people have brought this up, should there be some sort of a journalism bailout for the greater good, I guess? He says, no way. Let them fail if they're not selling papers. What do you think?
I actually agree. I believe in the free enterprises. I don't believe in bailouts at all, especially with my money.
You would have been fine with the banking system.
Absolutely true.
Is that true, really?
Yeah.
You didn't think that any of those bailouts made sense?
Well, I think some bailout at that time really made sense because the whole world's financial systems was on the verge of collapsing. So I think coming in to save the financial system was really needed.
I think one of the really telling things is if Murdoch and others attempt to do this in this sort of economy as we're coming out of a global recession, that's going to probably even pose bigger problems.
That's true. Timing is a little tough right now.
Maybe not bigger problems, bigger challenges.
Bigger challenges. It depends on the time. It depends how quickly the economy recovers, I guess. Yu-Dee Chang, who's had a nice internal crackdown on piracy this morning right here in the building. We appreciate that. We've done a little bit of everything. We're at 5 o'clock in the morning. Thanks for coming in. Right?
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Appreciate it very much. Okay.
All right. Well.